Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reich of Crime Talk, and today on the docket, a Heidi Broussard update. Yes, Megan Fieramusca had court today. Second, Rachel Henry also had court today. Third, the Harvey Weinstein trial is almost over, so he won't have any more court, hopefully, after the next day or two. Fourth, Lori Vallow DeBell still hasn't produced her kids, but her storage unit was full of a bunch of kids' stuff. Next on the docket, the dumb criminal of the day. And six, yes, a re-attempt to make the mug work. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reich of Crime Talk, and thank you for tuning in. And for those of you who have subscribed, we give a big thank you. We just surpassed 73,000 subscribers, and we know that couldn't be possible without you, and we take that responsibility very seriously because we want to put out a better product each and every day. So thank you. Now, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit the little subscribe button, hit that bell so you receive those notifications, and yes, please leave us a comment. We want to know what you think. First on the docket, the Heidi Broussard case update. For those of you who do not know, Heidi Broussard and her, at then time, 3-week-old daughter, Margot Carey, went missing. At first, a lot of people thought that her fiance, boyfriend, father of the children, Shane Carey, may have had something to do with it. Kind of said, hey, let's wait and see. As it turned out, the, quote, best friend had in fact been faking her pregnancy and telling everyone that she was pregnant, even relaying to her boyfriend that she was pregnant, even though he never saw her bare belly. He really believed that she was pregnant. Ultimately, the family is notified by the police that they find Heidi Broussard's body in the trunk of Megan Fieramusca's vehicle, stuffed into a duffel bag. Now, thank goodness, Margot Carey, the baby, then some 3 to 4 weeks old, was found safely and is back with family. Now, Megan Fieramusca was arrested originally for tampering with evidence, and then late last week, she was actually charged with capital murder of Heidi Broussard. So Megan Fieramusca did not appear in court today with her attorneys. It was more of a status type of hearing. Megan Fieramusca's attorneys have stated that they have not received a single piece of discovery in this case. Since it is a capital murder case, they would like to get started on doing what they need to do, reviewing the discovery reports, interviewing witnesses, conducting their own investigation, analyzing the discovery as it relates to any motions practice that needs to take place. And so they would like to get that as soon as possible. Now, of course, the state says, hey, we've been really busy. We've been trying to do everything, and we'll get everything to you kind of when we can. The court denied the motion filed by Ms. Fieramusca's attorneys for asking for sanctions, saying they're delaying, but they did set the matter for a status conference on March 11th to basically see how things are progressing. Now, this is one of my pet peeves, and actually things work pretty smooth here where I practice. When you enter on the case, if the case is already filed, you get the discovery. It's all digital. You download it. It's very, very smooth. Basically, the prosecution has to turn over everything. It's just fair. It's just the way it is. When you have a client charged with first-degree murder, you want to get on that. You want to go talk to these witnesses as quickly as you can, go to the scene. You want to do that ASAP before people move, before people memories start to fade, before people start to be influenced by other witnesses, before people start being influenced by what they read in the media. It's so important. I've had cases where, it's a cold case where literally the case is 25 years old. Like, okay, we got time. I've had other cases where literally we've been retained and literally there's still dried blood out on the street where, something took place and, things are still fresh, literally. And so that's when, as a defense counsel, you want to get on that case. The prosecution shouldn't be delaying. It's kind of gamesmanship, and it's like, why? If you got a solid case, as my old boss used to say when I was a young prosecutor in the Marine Corps, I'm going to give the defense everything they want, and we're still going to convict your guy. Just give it to them. They're going to get it anyway. Unless there's some reason for safety, just give it to the defense. Next on the docket, Rachel Henry. This is the mother of three who is accused of suffocating all three of her children, ages 3, 1, and 7 months. Her bond is currently set at $3 million down there in Arizona. Unlikely she's going to make bond, but she too has entered a plea of not guilty in this particular case, and I believe that will be a quick resolution. Only if there's some sort of mental health defense. This seems like a case that is ripe for some sort of disposition that maybe won't result in a life sentence for Miss Henry. But then again, the prosecutor has that discretion to say, you know what, she is such a danger to the community and children, not only hers, but anybody else's, where she would have to remain in custody forever. So next on the docket, the Harvey Weinstein trial, the case that seems like it will never come to an end. Well, as you know, Miss Mann, one of the witnesses in the case, who was actually a complaining witness, spent yet a third day on the witness stand. And she's the same witness that kept in contact and continued to engage in a sexual relationship with Mr. Weinstein for some 4 years after the alleged sexual assault. Now, I was a little surprised when I found out that the defense counsel was able to cross-examine Miss Mann based upon her psychological treatment that she has received in various diagnoses. Although that comes in sometimes, I'm very surprised the judge allowed it in, but I think at this point the judge wants to make sure that the defense is given every opportunity to cross-examine these witnesses thoroughly and present a defense, because it takes away issues on appeal if that takes place. You know, when the defense is limited on cross-examination, things of that nature, it creates appellate issues that they didn't get the opportunity really to present a defense, and it creates due process issues as well. So the judge is making sure that is going away. We had another witness testify as to about the same thing, a young budding writer, actress who stated that she met Mr. Weinstein to basically pitch an idea based upon a mutual friend, and that she was told to meet Mr. Weinstein at a bar. Ultimately, had to go to a meeting or some event with Quentin Tarantino, and the assistant and Mr. Weinstein accompanied her upstairs, and basically she found herself trapped in the bathroom, whereupon Mr. Weinstein engaged in some lewd acts. This witness, once again, is brought for what we refer to as 404B evidence of other wrongful bad acts, not to show propensity evidence to say, oh, he did something weird and bad on this particular day, so therefore he must have done it on this particular day, but it shows absence of mistake, a pattern, modus operandi. That's what it's given for. The jury will be instructed as to the limited purpose that they can use that particular evidence. Now, I haven't been sitting through the entire trial, but the cross-examination of Miss Mann, I don't know if it's going to result in an acquittal of all charges, or maybe just of the charges relating to her. But from what I've seen, it did not come across as a great witness for the prosecution. They spent a lot of time trying to clean that situation up. The prosecution called an expert in the area of sexual assault trauma to testify that it's not unusual for somebody to try and keep a relationship with their abuser, to try and even things out, so to speak. I've done lots of these types of trials over the years. I've cross-examined and met with a lot of these type of witnesses. Their use as a witness, though, is being very narrowly tailored, because they're what they call a blind expert. And a blind expert is somebody who has not treated the complaining witness, has not treated the perpetrator in any way, but they get up there and they try to explain generally overall, this is what we've seen. And the courts, I think, are starting to limit it, because it really can be perceived as prejudicial. And really what it means is when the prosecution has a scenario that they don't like, something other than I was sexually assaulted, and they immediately go and report it to the police, they bring in this expert to say it's not uncommon for people to immediately go to the police if they've been sexually assaulted. Then the expert will say, well, it's not uncommon if somebody waits weeks, years, months, decades until they go to the police. It just depends on each individual scenario. Well, what expert testimony is needed from that? I think most people simply have to listen to the witness, and they have their own reasons why. It's either plausible or not. Most of the time it's fear when it's younger victims. Sometimes it's embarrassment. Who knows? There's lots of reasons for that. And I'm not saying that something didn't happen if somebody didn't go immediately, but from the prosecution standpoint, that's what district attorneys prefer. So that's just the way it is. It doesn't mean it always happened. If somebody makes an allegation, I've seen many a false allegation made over the years where, for lack of a better term, it was a shakedown on individuals, particularly wealthy individuals, where they're trying to get money, and they try to do everything they can to kind of build the case before they go to the police, but yet still trying to make it look like they went immediately, when in fact they don't. They call, the police, wrong phone number, and I won't call back, and they try to say that was a contact for the police. It just varies. Each case is different. These juries have a tough job, but they take their jobs very seriously. And whatever happens in this case or any other case, you cannot criticize the jury simply for their decision. They're the ones that saw all the evidence, not just little snippets of it. They were able to judge the credibility of those witnesses, or the lack thereof, in the witness stand, to judge their demeanor on the stand. And frankly, sometimes people can just see whether someone is not telling the truth, whether they're exaggerating, whether they're minimizing their testimony. And that's what juries do. So, next on the docket, Lori Vallow DeBell. Now, this is the Idaho woman. I think I misspoke the other day and I said Utah. She's from Idaho. Well, her children haven't been seen since September. The police are trying to get information regarding the children. Ms. Vallow is out in her new home with her new husband in Hawaii, and really has no concern about the children and refuses to tell anyone where they may be found. Well, Miss Vallow DeBell didn't pay her rent on the storage unit that she had rented back in the October timeframe, and there's video of her and her brother taking items into the storage unit. There's photo albums of the kids, blankets, bikes, things of that nature. Clearly things she thought she wasn't going to need, but didn't want to get rid of. Maybe there's not a space in Hawaii. I don't know. Sometimes those houses in Hawaii are a little tiny, but you never know. And you would think if you were a parent, you would simply say, here's where my children are. They're safe. Something weird is going on. The question is going to be, are charges ever going to be filed? Next on the docket, the dumb criminal of the day. Now, this is kind of an oldie but a goodie, but you still can't pass it up, and he's definitely in the running. Today's dumb criminal contestant of the week is Michael Henson. He is 35 years old, and he was found by the police wearing only a pair of black shorts and black shoes, according to the police reports, and he was obviously taken into custody. Now, what was he possibly doing to be taken into custody? Because wearing a pair of black shorts and black shoes is not a crime. It may be a fashion crime, but it is not a criminal offense. No. What Mr. Henson was doing was he was attempting to have sex with the front grille of a red van parked on the side of the road. That's right. He had put his genitals into the front grille, and when the police came by, he was busy trying to pleasure himself and the van. Now, obviously, Mr. Henson was arrested for indecency. He also appeared to be intoxicated. There's no report whether it was as good for the van as it was for Mr. Henson. Now, next on the docket. Yesterday, we failed miserably in our mug experiment. We had only done it for the first time. We try yet again today. Hot water, please. For those of you who didn't see the video yesterday, and shame on you for not watching, this was a mug that was given to me by the lovely Miss Kristen. And on it are several significant cases that have been decided by the United States Supreme Court. Now, yesterday, what was supposed to happen was when we add hot water, it was supposed to show the winner of the particular case. So yesterday, it did not work. Apparently, our water was not hot enough. So today, we try yet again. So now we add the hot water, and look, we wait. As you can see, there's cases on here: Lochner versus New York, Bush v. Gore, Griswold v. Connecticut. Oh, look, United States versus Nixon, Brown v. Board of Education, Miranda v. Arizona, Dred Scott versus Sanford, Plessy versus Ferguson. And I don't know if you can see that, but the winners, obviously Gideon v. Wainwright, Mr. Gideon, the man who brought us the right to have counsel. Yes, that's right. You see, it works. It works. So the mug is no longer a contestant for the dumb mug of the week. It, in fact, worked. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I can't get you a mug that changes colors just yet, but if you do want to get a Crime Talk mug and you'd like to have one so you can enjoy your morning cup of joe, or maybe pour a nice Red Bull in there, it's completely up to you. My personal favorite is Red Bull, sugar-free. You can buy one at the link below. Click the merch down there. They'll have it to you in a couple of days. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.